May 10, 1940. 0200 hours. South Atlantic. Position 34 degrees south, 18 degrees east. Approximately 200 miles off Cape Agulhas. Something that looks like Norwegian freighter drops 92 mines. The ship moves methodically. Precise pattern. Drops one mine every half mile. The work takes 3 hours. Crew operates quietly, efficiently. Nobody speaks above whisper. Mines splash overboard. Sink. Anchor themselves. Wait. Ship finishes work. Turns north. Disappears into darkness. The ship is not Norwegian. Is German auxiliary cruiser Atlantis. Designation. Shift 16. To Royal Navy. Raider C. Captain Bernhard Roga commanding. 350 crew. 6 5.9-inch guns. 4 torpedo tubes. 2 Heinkel seaplanes. Mines. Fuel for 60,000 miles. Provisions for 18 months. This is second night of war for Atlantis. First operation. Mining Cape shipping lanes. Second operation. Hunting Allied merchantmen across 3 oceans for next 622 days. Longest raiding cruise in history. Most successful raiding cruise in history. Will sink or capture 22 ships, 145,000 tons, without ever appearing to be warship. This is not how navies normally fight. Regular warships fly battle flags, display weapons, look threatening. Merchant raiders do opposite. Fly false flags, hide weapons, look harmless. Approach victims disguised as neutral cargo ship. Reveal identity at point-blank range. Sink ship before it can radio warning. Capture crew. Disappear before anyone knows what happened. Piracy, legalized piracy. Effective piracy. Germany understands this warfare. Practiced at World War I. SMS Wolf operated 451 days. Sank 14 ships. Laid mines that sank 13 more. SMS Moe most successful. 3 cruises. 41 ships. Never caught. Returned Germany heroes welcome. Both wars proved concept. Minor sea power cannot match major sea power in fleet actions. Cannot build enough battleships. Cannot afford enough cruisers. Cannot win by fighting directly. Must fight asymmetrically. Must attack enemy's weakness. Enemy's weakness is commerce. Thousands of cargo ships. Scattered across oceans. Mostly unarmed. Mostly unescorted. Vulnerable. Attack commerce. Force enemy to disperse warships protecting convoys. Tie down cruisers hunting raiders. Disrupt supply lines. Spread fear. Damage morale. Win through attrition. Through psychological warfare. Through making ocean unsafe. World War II begins. Kriegsmarine has 3 battleships. 8 cruisers. Destroyers. Submarines. Insufficient to challenge Royal Navy. British have 15 battleships. 60 cruisers. 200 destroyers. Plus French Navy. Plus eventually American Navy. Germany needs force multipliers. Needs weapons that create impact exceeding their cost. Merchant raiders are perfect. Cost 1% of battleship. Create equivalent impact. Tie down dozens of warships searching for them. Sink hundreds of thousands of tons. Spread terror across shipping lanes. Perfect asymmetric weapon. German Naval High Command selects 9 cargo ships for conversion. Orion, Atlantis, Witter, Thor, Pingin, Stier, Comet, Cormoran. Michel. Designation. Handelssturmkreuzer. Commerce disruption cruisers. Alternatively, Hilfskreuzer. Auxiliary cruisers. 2 allies. Armed merchant cruisers. To history. Merchant raiders. To cruise. Toughest assignment in Kriegsmarine. 18 months at sea. No port calls. No mail. No contact with home. No relief. No backup. No rescue if things go wrong. Alone in hostile waters. Pretending to be what they are not. Hunting ships that sometimes hunt back. Dangerous duty. Volunteer duty. Elite duty. The conversion process is extensive. The ships start as ordinary freighters. Goldenfels becomes Atlantis. Steiermark becomes Cormoran. Candlefels becomes Penguin. Each displaces 7,000 to 8,000 tons. Length, 450 to 500 feet. Beam, 60 feet. Speed, 16 knots maximum. Inadequate for warship. Adequate for freighter. Perfect for raider. Fast enough to catch cargo ships. Slow enough to appear civilian. Unremarkable enough to approach without suspicion. The armament installation requires creativity. Cannot mount guns on deck. Would betray military purpose. Must hide guns. Solution. Install behind false hull plates. Build steel frames. Mount guns on hydraulic platforms. Lower platforms into hull. Close hinged plates over them. Paint plates to match hull. Result. invisible guns, until needed. Then hydraulic pressure raises platforms. Plates drop away. Guns emerge. 30 seconds from cargo ship to warship. Transformation is dramatic. Effective. Terrifying to victims. The specifications: 6 5.9-inch guns, 50 caliber. Salvaged from World War I battleships. Schleswig-Holstein, Schlesien, Deutschland class. Old guns. Still effective. Maximum range: 25,000 yards. Rate of fire: 4 rounds per minute. High explosive shells, armor-piercing shells. Sufficient to destroy any merchantman. Sufficient to damage most warships. Secondary armament varies. Some ships carry 3-inch guns. All carry 37mm anti-aircraft guns, 20mm autocannons, machine guns, defensive weapons, not intended for fleet actions, intended for merchantmen, for aircraft, for deterrence. The torpedo armament is critical. 4 to 6 torpedo tubes, 21-inch, German G7 torpedoes. Some ships carry fixed tubes in hull. Some carry trainable deck mounts. Some carry both. Cormoran has 4 torpedo tubes, 2 twin mounts above deck, 2 single tubes underwater. Angled 135 degrees from bow, usable only below 3 knots. Complicated installation. Effective installation. Gives raider multiple attack options. Can torpedo at distance. Can close and use guns. Flexibility is survival. The mine capability adds strategic value. Ships carry 60 to 300 mines. Penguin carries 300. Most others carry 90 to 100. Type EMC moored contact mines. Weight: 1,700 pounds. Warhead: 660 pounds emittable. Mooring depth adjustable. Ship can lay minefield in hours, then disappear. Mines wait months. Destroy ships entering harbor. Disrupt ports. Force minesweeping operations. Create terror. Single mine-laying operation can close port for weeks. Force shipping rerouting. Tie down minesweepers. Strategic impact exceeds direct ship sinkings. The aircraft are reconnaissance asset. Critical asset: 1 or 2 seaplanes per ship. Initially Heinkel He-114. Later Erido R-196. Excellent float planes. Range: 500 miles. Endurance: 4 hours. Armed with machine guns. Light bombs. Mission: scout for victims. Identify ship type. Monitor radio traffic. Sometimes attack. Disable radio aerials from distance. Prevent distress calls. Aircraft launches by crane. No catapult. Catapult would betray warship identity. Crane is civilian equipment. Slower launch. Acceptable compromise. Recovery by crane also. Ship stops. Lowers aircraft. Aircraft taxis alongside. Crane lifts aboard. 30 minutes process. Dangerous in hostile waters. Worth risk. Aircraft increases search radius enormously. Makes raiding practical across empty ocean. The disguise capability is masterpiece. Ships carry extensive camouflage equipment. False funnels. Telescoping funnels. Collapsible ventilators. Removable masts. Fake deck structures. Canvas screens. Paint. Lots of paint. 20 different colors. Each ship can impersonate dozen different vessels. Change appearance overnight. Atlantis impersonates Norwegian Knut Nelson. Soviet freighter Kim. Japanese Kasimaru. Dutch Abbekerk. More. Each identity complete. Correct flags. Correct signal books. Correct ship's papers. Radio operators speak appropriate languages. Crew wears appropriate uniforms. Deck cargo arranged appropriately. Everything authentic. Everything believable. Until too late. The technique is deception. Ship approaches victim flying neutral flag. Dutch, Norwegian, Japanese, Soviet, British if necessary. Appears harmless. Master probably assumes friendly ship. Maybe convoy escort. Maybe passing freighter. Raider closes! 3 miles. 2 miles. 1 mile. Then signals. International code. Stop immediately. Do not use radio. Master confused. Hesitates. Raider unveils guns. Drops false plates. Raises German naval ensign. Swastika flag. Order repeats. Stop immediately. Do not use radio. Or we fire. Most masters comply. Some transmit anyway. RAR signal. Enemy raider. Then position. Raider fires immediately. Shells destroy radio room. Destroy bridge. Destroy engine room. Ship stops. Burning. Sinking. Crew abandons. Raider rescues survivors. Interrogates. Scuttles victim. Disappears. Entire sequence. 30 minutes. 1 more Allied ship gone. 1 more crew captured. 1 more success. One more step toward winning war of attrition. Captains are chosen carefully. Volunteers, mature officers, experienced merchant officers, reserve officers, not Kriegsmarine regulars. Roga commanded Atlantis, age 41, merchant marine background, cultured, educated, speaks English, understands international maritime law, treats prisoners correctly, adheres to conventions, provides medical care, adequate food, humane conditions, returns personal belongings when possible, directs lifeboats toward land, provides navigation equipment, water, rations, survival gear, follows ancient maritime tradition. Sailors help sailors. War is separate. Humanity is separate. Roga exemplifie this. Other captains vary. Some harsh, some kind, most professional. All understand mission. Sink ships. Capture crews. Survive. Return to Germany. Report. Train next generation. Pass knowledge forward. The operational procedure is methodical. Ship departs German port disguised as specific vessel. Transits North Sea. Avoids Royal Navy patrols. Breaks out into Atlantic. Sometimes through Denmark Strait. Sometimes Norway coast. Sometimes English Channel. Dangerous passage. British watching. Submarines. Aircraft. Surface patrols. Some raiders destroyed during breakout. Others succeed. Once in open ocean. Relative safety. Ocean is vast. Ships are small. Finding specific ship in Atlantic like finding specific car in continent. Possible. Difficult. Usually impossible. Raider proceeds to operating area. South Atlantic. Indian Ocean. Pacific. Antarctic waters. Anywhere Allied shipping moves. Begins hunting. Search pattern covers hundreds of miles. Aircraft scouts ahead. Ship follows. Days pass. Weeks. Nothing. Then contact. Smoke on horizon. Ship investigates. Approaches slowly. Identifies target. Friendly or enemy. Neutral or belligerent. Armed or unarmed. Warship or merchantman. Decisions made quickly. Attack or evade. Close or withdraw. Captain decides. Lives on his judgment. His crew's lives. His success. Everything. Atlantis begins operations March 1940. Departs Kiel March 11. Disguised as Soviet Kim. Proceeds Norway coast. Breaks out Denmark Strait. March 31. No interception. Proceeds South Atlantic. First victim. British SS scientist. April 3. South of Azores. Captured intact. Skeleton crew placed aboard. Sent to France. Arrive Bordeaux April 26. Valuable prize. Cargo intact. Ship reusable. May 10. Atlantis mines Cape Agulhas. 92 mines. 3-hour operation. Successful. Later reports indicate 8 ships sunk. 3 more damaged. 3 minesweepers engaged clearing. Indirect victory. Strategic impact. All from single night's work. This is raider value. Small effort. Large result. Force multiplication. June 10. Norwegian Tirana. 3-hour chase. 30 salvos fired. Ship stops. Crew captured. Ship scuttled. First true combat. Proof of concept. Atlantis can catch fleeing ships. Can force surrender. Can destroy if necessary. Crew behavior noted. No casualties. All rescued. Professional operation. July 11. British city of Baghdad. Indian Ocean. Atlantis disguised as British armed merchant cruiser. Signals routine inspection. Victim complies. Atlantis closes. Reveals identity. Opens fire when victim transmits distress signal. Destroys radio room. Destroys bridge. Ship surrenders. Crew transferred. Ship sunk. 6,500 tons. Valuable cargo. Lost. July 13. British Chemendine. Same tactic. Same result. Another British ship destroyed. Pattern established. Atlantis operating successfully. Finding victims. Destroying them. Avoiding detection. Exactly as planned. September 20. French Commissaire Ramel. Vichy French. Technically neutral. Roga uncertain. Engages anyway. Captures ship. Sends to Madagascar. Later transferred Japanese control. Questionable decision. Legal gray area. Roga decides military necessity outweighs legality. Controversial. Effective. November 11. British Automedon. Blue Funnel Line. Position 300 miles west of Sumatra. Atlantis opens fire 0625 hours. Range 4,000 yards. 5 salvos. Direct hits. Bridge destroyed. Captain killed. Radio room destroyed. Ship disabled. Atlantis ceases fire. Boarding party investigates. Discovers valuable cargo. mailbags, secret documents, British Far East defense plans, complete strategic assessment, weaknesses, dispositions. Everything? Intelligence bonanza. Roga immediately sends captured documents to Germany via Japan. Documents reach Berlin December. Analysis reveals British Far East critically unprepared. Information passed to Japanese. Contributes to Japanese strategic planning. Pearl Harbor. Malaya. Everything. Automedon cargo arguably more valuable than all ships Atlantis sinks. Intelligence wins wars. Roga provided intelligence. Critical intelligence. War-changing intelligence. December. Atlantis reaches Kerguelen Islands. Uninhabited. Perfect refuge. Ship rests. Conducts repairs. Refuels from captured tanker. Resupplies. Crew rests. Essential maintenance. Raiders require support. Cannot operate continuously. Need bases. Need supplies. Need rest. Kerguelen provides all three. Remote location. No enemy presence. Safe anchorage. Atlantis will return repeatedly. Make Kerguelen temporary home. Unofficial German outpost. South Indian Ocean. January 1941. East African waters. British Mandsaur. Norwegian spybank. Norwegian tanker Ketty Brovig. 3 ships. 6 weeks. Ketty Brovig particularly valuable. 7,000 tons fuel oil. Atlantis takes fuel. Refuels. Sends tanker to France as prize. Fuel feeds Atlantis. Feeds U-boats. Feeds heavy cruiser Admiral Scheer. Even feeds Italian submarine Perla. One tanker supports multiple operations. This is total warfare. This is efficient warfare. This is Germany stretching limited resources. April 17. Egyptian liner Zamzam. Roga mistakes her for British troopship. Opens fire. 5,200 yards. Second salvo hits wireless room. Ship stops. Boarding party investigates. Discovers passengers. 202 people, including missionaries. American journalist. Charles John Vivian Murphy. Fortune magazine editor. Neutrals. Americans. Disaster. Roga violated neutrality. Potential diplomatic crisis. American entry into war. Everything at risk. Roga handles situation carefully. Treats passengers correctly. Provides food. Medical care. Decent quarters. Separates from military prisoners. Explains situation. Apologizes. Some passengers angry, some understanding. Murphy especially understanding. Later writes favorable account. Describes Roga as gentleman, as professional, as correct officer. Passengers eventually transferred to captured ships. Sent to France. Arrive safely. American government protests. Germans apologize. Claim mistake. Blame British for arming passenger ships. Crisis dissipates. War continues. Zamzam incident becomes footnote. Could have been crisis. Became propaganda. Both sides used it. Both sides benefited. Roga survived. Atlantis survived. Mission continued. By November 1941, Atlantis has operated 602 days, longer than any previous raider. 22 ships destroyed or captured. 145,000 tons. Record achievement. Roga decorated. Oak leaves to Knight's Cross. Crew celebrated. But strain is showing. Systems degrading. Engines need overhaul. Hull needs dry dock. Crew needs rest. Atlantis needs Germany. Plans made. Route charted. South Atlantic. North Atlantic. Breakout. Home. End of mission. Beginning of rest. November 22. South Atlantic. 4 degrees 20 minutes south. 18 degrees west. Atlantis rendezvoused with U-126. Refueling operation. Standard procedure. U-boat surfaced. Fuel lines connected. Transfer begins. Routine operation. Dangerous operation. Both ships vulnerable. Cannot maneuver. Cannot dive. Cannot run. Perfect target. Both crews no risk. Accept risk. Required risk. 0815 hours. Walrus seaplane appears. From HMS Devonshire. County-class heavy cruiser. 8-inch guns. 32 knots. Overwhelming force. U-126 dives immediately. Leaves captain and 10 crew aboard Atlantis. No time. Atlantis turns away. Shows stern. Maximum speed. 17 knots. Inadequate. Devonshire makes 32. Gap closes. Inevitable. Certain. Fatal. Roga considers options. Fight impossible. 5.9-inch guns, maximum range 25,000 yards. Devonshire's 8-inch guns range 31,000 yards. Devonshire can stand off. Pound Atlantis. Remain invulnerable. Fighting is suicide. Surrender possible. Lower flags. Stop engines. Wait. But Devonshire might not accept surrender. Might fire anyway. Might assume trap. U-boat. Torpedoes. British cautious. Will approach carefully. Or not at all. Might just sink from distance. Surrender probably means death. Quick death. Roga chooses deception. Raises Dutch flag. Signals identification. Polyphemus. Dutch freighter. Devonshire fires warning salvos. 0830. Atlantis maintains deception. Transmits RAR signal. Radar report. As if Polyphemus warning others. Clever. Believable. Devonshire stops firing. Watches. Hesitates. 1 hour passes. Roga hopes Devonshire withdraws. Leave harmless Dutch ship alone. Search elsewhere. Hope fades. 0930. Devonshire fires again. Salvos hit. Aft section. Fire start. Roga knows. Deception failed. Ship doomed. Orders abandon ship. 0958. Crew overside. Lifeboats launched. Life rafts deployed. Everyone off. Scuttling charges deunate. 1015 hours. Atlantis sinks. Bow rises. Pauses. Slides backward. Disappears. 602 days at sea. 22 ships. 145,000 tons. Over? Ended. Finished. By 8-inch shells. By county-class cruiser. By bad luck. By exposure. By war. Survivors spend 7 days in lifeboats. U-boats rescue some. Supply ship Python rescues others. December 1. HMS Dorsetshire sinks Python. More lifeboats. More rafts. More submarines. Eventually, 5 U-boats collect Atlantis survivors. U-68, UA, U-124, U-129. Italian submarines Tazzoli, Calvi, Finzi. All transport survivors. All reach France. December, January. Staggered arrivals. 415 survivors from Atlantis, Python. All accounted for. All safe. Remarkable survival. Remarkable luck. Remarkable effort by submarine crews. Rogue survives. Reports. Writes manual. Trains new raiders. Promotes. Rear Admiral. War continues. Raider program continues. Without Atlantis, without Roga at sea, his knowledge transfers. His experience teaches. His methods proliferate. Cormoran continues tradition. Larger than Atlantis. 8,736 tons. 6 15-centimeter guns. Same vintage. Different battleship. 6 torpedo tubes. 2 twin mounts above deck. 2 single underwater. More offensive capability. More complex systems. Commissioned October 1940. Captain Theodore Detmers. Age 38. Qualified. Experienced. Different personality. Harsher. More military. Less flexible. But effective. Proves effective. Cormoran operates December 1940 through November 1941. 11 months. Atlantic. Indian Ocean. 10 merchantmen sunk, 1 captured. 68,000 tons approximately. Good score? Respectable score. Not exceptional. Until November 19. Then Cormoran achieves unique distinction. Only merchant raider ever to sink modern warship in combat. HMS Sydney. Light cruiser. 6,800 tons. 8 6-inch guns. 32 knots. Professional crew. Experienced captain. Should destroy Cormoran easily. Does not. Both ships sink. Mutually destructive. Unique engagement. Previously described. No repetition here. But achievement noted. Cormoran destroyed cruiser. Something no other raider accomplished. Something that should be impossible. Happened anyway. Detmers deserves credit. German crew deserves credit. Effective tactics. Effective deception. Effective gunnery. All combined. Result. Victory. Cost. Ship. Acceptable cost. Strategic victory. Sydney loss devastates Australia. Psychological impact enormous. Material impact significant. 1 cruiser lost. 1 raider lost. Even trade tonnage. Uneven trade psychologically. The raider program ultimately produces mixed results. 9 ships operated. 5 returned Germany successfully. 4 destroyed at sea. Atlantis by Devonshire. Cormoran by Sydney. Penguin by Cornwall. Steer damaged. Scuttled. Total score. 129 ships sunk or captured. 800,000 tons. Plus mines account for more. Strategic impact exceeds tonnage. Tied down dozens of warships. Hundreds of escort vessels. Thousands of sailors searching. Resources diverted from front line. Convoy schedules disrupted. Insurance rates increased. Morale damaged. Fear spread. Ocean became dangerous. Cargo ships became vulnerable. Masters became cautious. Speed reduced. Routes changed. Ports avoided. Everything slowed. Everything complicated. Everything more expensive. This is raider value. Not just ships sunk. Everything else. Everything indirect. Everything strategic. Cost to Germany minimal. 9 freighters. Obsolete guns. Volunteer crews. Total expenditure 1% of battleship cost. Bismarck cost 100 million Reichsmarks. 9 raiders cost 1 million. 1%. Return on investment enormous. 800,000 tons sunk. Plus strategic impact. Plus psychological impact. Plus force tied down hunting them. Best investment Kriegsmarine made. More cost-effective than battleships. More cost-effective than cruisers. Arguably more cost-effective than U-boats. Different warfare. Asymmetric warfare. Perfect warfare for weaker Navy fighting stronger Navy. But ultimately failed warfare. By late 1942, raiders ineffective. Radio technology improved. Every ship carried radio. Distress signals instant. Response immediate. Aircraft coverage expanded. Radar coverage expanded. Ships harder to approach unseen. Harder to deceive. Harder to escape. Challenge reply procedures implemented. Every ship must respond correctly. Encrypted codes. Changed daily. Cannot be faked. Cannot be guessed. Raiders caught attempting deception. Sunk quickly. Risk exceeds value. Program ends 1943. Last raider Michel sunk October 1943. By submarine. USS Tarpon. Torpedoes. Sinking. Ending. No replacement. No continuation. Concept obsolete. Technology defeated tactics. Progress defeated tradition. Modern warfare defeated piracy. The legacy remains. Atlantis most successful. 622 days. 22 ships. Roga most celebrated. Oak leaves. Post-war career. Rear Admiral. Survived war. Lived 1982. Age 82. Respected. Honored. Even by former enemies. British officers praised him. Australian officers respected him. American officers studied him. Gentleman warrior. Professional officer. Maritime tradition personified. War is war. Humanity is separate. Roga understood. Exemplified. Demonstrated. His legacy transcends tonnage. Transcends victories. Represents something deeper. Warfare can be professional. Can be humane. Can follow rules. Even asymmetric warfare. Even piracy. Rules matter. Humanity matters. Roga proved it. Atlantis proved it. 622 days at sea. 22 ships destroyed. All crews saved. All prisoners treated correctly. All conventions followed. Perfect record. Impossible record. But real. Because Roga demanded it. Because crew followed. Because professionalism mattered more than expedience. The wrecks remain. Atlantis sits 4 degrees 20 minutes south. 18 degrees west. 5,000 meters deep. Undiscovered. Unmarked. Forgotten mostly. Cormoran sits 2,560 meters deep. Off Western Australia. Located 2008. Surveyed. Documented. Vargrave. Protected. Remembered. Other raiders scrapped. Or survived. Thor destroyed by accident. Yokohama. 1942. Fire spread from tanker. Explosion. Sinking. Orion became training ship. Survived war. Scrapped later. Michel sunk by Tarpon. Penguin by Cornwall. Comet by British motor torpedo boats. Witter survived. Returned merchant service. Some lived. Some died. All served. All contributed. All mattered. The story is piracy. Legal piracy. Sanctioned piracy. Effective piracy. Ships disguised as harmless freighters. Hiding behind false flags. Behind false papers. Behind false identities. Approaching victims. Revealing true nature. Destroying them. Escaping. Repeating. Modern piracy. 20th century piracy. Technological piracy. But piracy nonetheless. Taking ships. Taking cargo. Taking crews. By deception. By force. By surprise. Ancient method. Modern tools. Combined effectively. Temporarily successfully. Ultimately obsoleted. But memorable. Impressive. Worthy of study. Worthy of respect. Worthy of remembering. Nazi warships disguised as harmless civilian freighters. Collapsible funnels. Fake flags. Telescoping masts. Hidden guns. False identities. All tools of trade. All weapons of war. All deployed skillfully. All effective until not. Until technology caught up. until procedures adapted, until countermeasures worked, then ended. But while they lasted, they worked. They sank ships. They spread fear. They won battles. They served purpose. They proved concept. Weak Navy can hurt strong Navy. Asymmetric warfare works. Deception matters. Innovation matters. Courage matters. Professionalism matters. All lessons. All valid. All eternal. Atlantis and Cormoran taught them. Germany learned them. Allies learned them. Everyone learned them. Pirates of the Atlantic. Kriegsmarine's secret weapon. Hidden success. Forgotten achievement. But achievement nonetheless. 622 days. 22 ships. 800,000 tons total program. 129 ships. All testimony. All proof. All legacy. Commerce raiders worked until they did not. But while they did, they mattered. They changed warfare. They wrote history. They earned respect. They deserve memory. Atlantis especially. Cormoran too. Both symbols. Both examples. Both lessons. For present. For future. For always.